that was a little odd to me, but they still made it work, at least early on. Interested to see how they change it up.
Yeah, definitely am. So with that said, it looks like game number 2 has officially begun here. So ladies and gentlemen, let's take a look. Game number 2. Let's go. All right, not my best introduction right there. But anyways, we are in game number 2 here with the blind ban, in fact, taking place right off the bat. Warbeast and Parasite coming out here actually by Complexity. Ophelia and Moraxis from Domain of Pain. So a couple of change-ups here, seeing that Warbeast ban this time around from a Complexity. And then, of course, the no Magmus this time from Domain of Pain. Instead, they actually go with Moraxis instead of Magmus.
Okay.
So valuing him this time over that.
Yeah, I still think Magmus is the stronger hero. I really do. Just everything that Moraxis did as far as initiating, Mag can do the same thing, except add on top of that the ability to win your lane. That's basically Magmus in a nutshell. Anyway, the Warbeast Parasite ban's coming out from Legion. They just don't want to deal with Warbeast. They know that Emperor plays a very fine Warbeast. And just in general, I think that hero just seems to be winning games. Like, that's the bottom line. He's just winning games.
Yeah.
First lock actually coming up from Beacon is going to be that Keeper of the Forest.
Yeah, the Keeper of the Forest, of course. Moon Meander may not have had the most effective start against Soul Reaper there, being played by Cheese Helmet, a.k.a. Heimer. But he definitely pulled through in the mid to later game of that stage and became a very useful hero for the team as really Keeper of the Forest. So Emperor actually going to be the one to lock Magmus here. So how about that? They go from blind banning Magmus the first game to actually locking it themselves. And they also put Pharaoh in that pool. So an interesting start to this lock pool, definitely. Now back to B-Kid. Again, B-Kid known for a mix of the jungle suicide, and lo and behold, Bubble's going to be one of his first 2 next locks. We'll see what the final one is, but again, something like a Plague Rider, something like a Tempest even, put that in there. So a lot of options to be had when it comes to that selection stage as a result of this. So,
yep, a couple more locks. Actually, B-Kid locking Kinesis himself.
Huh.
So going to go with the Bubbles and Kinesis. One more lock is available from Domain of Pain. Interested to see what they do. They've already locked Magmus actually themselves. So maybe they feel that second pick, Magmus first pick worthy isn't so like desired by Complexity with having them lock that Keeper of the Forest. So maybe they feel like they can actually pick up Magmus if they do decide to run him. I don't know if they play. Actually, I know that Enso plays actually quite a fine Magmus.
Yeah.
And their final lock, actually, believe it or not, is that Gravekeeper. So I know that Heimer plays a fantastic Gravekeeper. It's one of his comfort heroes.
Exactly. This team with Emperor at the helm, I can't say again I'm too surprised by it that they run different heroes than most other teams, but it's fun, man. I mean, obviously from Kinesis to now Gravekeeper. But as you put it, I mean, specifically Cheese Him. I want to say Jeppins also plays a little bit of it as well. But anyways, Gravekeeper is an interesting hero, to say the least. He did receive some buffs in a recent patch, I believe with his ultimate, actually, whether it was a cooldown reduction or something like that. But so he's an interesting hero. Now, if he does get picked, we'll go more into it. But until then, we'll kind of leave it at that, I guess. But the banning phase now picking up here. Draconis, Engineer, Fade, and Tundra so far. There's the Dark Lady. And now one more ban to go. There's still Silhouette on the board, and especially with Complexity having first pick, maybe that's going to be looked at. But
yep. I would definitely ban Silhouette without a question. I think it's going to get first picked if they don't ban it out. Seeing how so many people do run a suicide hero, and Silhouette just kind of crushes that all by herself. So you don't even need to expend a support to help her out or anything like that. So they are going to go ahead and ban Nymphoris. So Nymphoris is a very annoying hero. I'll give him that. But I'm definitely going to expect this Silhouette to be first picked up here.
Yeah, we'll see how quickly B-Kid makes a decision here as far as a first pick. So there you go. Again, not too surprised about that one. So B-Kid going with the obvious there with the Silhouette snap pick. Now it's back to Emperor to see what he wants to go with. Of course, Cthulhu Font this time not locked in the pool. Obviously still on the board as far as being an option to pick up. We'll see if that happens, or if they go a different direction. I mean, you still got Pebbles, though, on the board. That's definitely a strong option here.
Yeah, absolutely.
For this team. So
I'm going to go ahead and say Pebbles Aluna.
Yeah.
In fact, I think Pebbles would be very strong here. You could also do a short lane or even a long lane Wild Soul. Wild Soul is still available in that pool. And that's one interesting thing to note. And that's a hero that we saw for a long time. Just get blind ban, but we never even saw him in locked. Just always blind ban. I think people are honestly just forgetting how ridiculously strong that hero is.
It's just kind of several heroes kind of seem to go through phases like
Tundra.
that. Yeah, like Tundra, like Pebbles initially, like Jeraziah. I mean, they go through those phases, and But Demented Shaman is actually going to be the first pick so far right here. We're going to see Cthulhu Font.
Probably
DS Cthulhu
Luna.
Font.
I'm going to go ahead and say a Luna.
A Luna? Okay.
Yeah, I think a Luna definitely will be picked up here, at least one of those two picks. Demented Shaman, they're going to go with Tempest. Interesting. I don't know if I really like that this early on. So, especially with Keeper of the Forest in that lock pool and seeing how Complexity has first pick. I'm not too sure about the Tempest pickup.
Yeah, that is that exactly. I think the Keeper of the Forest is definitely the big one there, being that first pick option. But they go with the Tempest nonetheless, and so now it's back to Complexity. And hell, again, you still have Pebbles and a Luna on the board, and would it be so odd of Complexity to even go something like that themselves? I don't think so. So we'll see if that's perhaps an option. You got Moomiander right there.
Oh, God.
Right-clicking that almond roll. Yeah, always having that bug in. Sure enough, a Luna Pebbles. It seems like we can call Complexity's lineup before they even pick it here.
They're going to pick then Keeper of the Forest for a jungle this time because they didn't already pick a jungle. And they're going to have a number of different suicides. So oh, wow, we're going to see an all-in push.
Yep,
looks like.
That's what they're doing.
But Keeper will be picked up here. Not sure what TT Sports will do after that.
You know what other keeper is going to be picked up? Gravekeeper.
Yeah, probably Gravekeeper.
Yep. He is great assistance when it comes to push, that's for sure. So Pharaoh and then Gravekeeper, I'm guessing. I mean, you pick Balfagor, you're pretty much committed to a push style strategy, right?
Kind of, yeah.
Yeah.
I mean, I think
Demented Shaman.
I think if you pick Balfagor, you can go all in with a push. But I think it's a little bit safer to still have a hero that can carry. But there's really nothing there, so I think Gravekeeper would be fine. I think Bubbles would be better. I think Bubbles would be 10 times better. Go Bubbles mid, Pharaoh bottom. They're gonna go with Gravekeeper though. So
yeah.
And then Bubbles for sure. Yeah, this is. I mean, let's go ahead and just look at both.
Yeah.
Lineups. Like.
Yeah.
This is very stable. You're gonna win your dual lane mid. You have a strong Suicide Bubbles. You know, a Keeper of the Forest jungling, gonna get free farm. I just don't know. This lineup would be fine. I don't know if maybe Domain of Pain has practiced this, and they know that this works. So.
Hope so.
Yeah, but then at the same time, you do have a support Demented Shaman. This is probably one of the only times it does work effectively when you have a push strat like this with Balfagor. So it's just a matter of how well can they execute it. You do have a little bit of anti-push though from a Luna. You can spam out with Bubbles. You can spam out even with Pebbles. I just don't know how effective this lineup is going to be.
It's different again, though. And I'm sure it's going to be entertaining to an extent. We're going to get either an entertainment factor in the sense of, oh my god, it works flawlessly, or an entertainment factor of like, okay, this is just a disaster. I think it's going to be, you know, one side of the spectrum or the other. Yep. I really do. I don't see it kind of being an in-between. So we'll see which side of the spectrum it is for Domain of Pain. Of course, they're leaning towards the, oh my god, this is awesome. They do have a Kongor team. I mean, just keep putting that out there. A level 1 Kongor, that wouldn't be too surprised, to say the least, with this lineup that they have. But again, I'm sure Complexity being the smart team that they are, at the very least, they'll maybe have Keeper of the Forest check with one of his tree dogs and be like, all right, yeah, you're not doing that. So, you know, that's something you have to keep in mind, especially when you do see a kind of a lineup like this where it is different. So, we'll see if there is that possibility. I mean, no items have been purchased. I guess a couple items have been purchased somewhat already. But yeah, they're not going nearly fast enough. So, I was crossing my fingers. I'm kind of hoping for maybe that. But I don't believe that they're going to do level 1 Kongor. Instead, they're going to take their time and then eventually head to the lanes. Now, I will say again, though, Demented Shaman Balfagor, that is a dangerous lane, man. I mean, Balfagor with those minions, he gets us around. You got the Demented Shaman heal ball on top of that. It will decimate you, and it's obviously great for pushing. So, although it's very odd, it's still not something to take lightly. Yeah,
but the thing is if I'm sure Complexity was planning on doing a. Well, actually, Pebbles is walking down here, so we might even see a solo. No, that Haxrin has a ring, though. So it's still going to be a silhouette down here, Pebbles being mid. But Aluna is going to transfer to the bottom lane, and they're going to have this dual range lane that can spam out against this Demented Shaman and Balfagor. And, I mean, how is Balfagor going to get CS without getting completely massacred and harassed against this dual range lane? So if Franzi is a good player, which I know he is, and is able to transfer down to bottom immediately, you have Pebbles versus is that Pharaoh mid? Okay, so it's going to be Pharaoh mid, and then actually Gravekeeper versus Bubbles top. I actually like that, actually, now that I think about it. So anyway, yeah, it just depends on how quick Complexity is to respond, which they probably will be very fast.
Yeah, usually are. So Balfagor and Demented Shaman, they're kind of going to the jungle a little bit right here, trying to be sneaky. Obviously, you see on the mini-map, there's really no resistance to be had, so they're going to go ahead and get down these water sites here. as Silhouette is going to make her way towards the bottom lane and do some creep blocking. But yeah, as you said, you expect more than likely an Luna to make a quick adjustment to the bottom lane as soon as they realize exactly how this is being set up. Enzo on Tempest, he is going to be here in the Hellborn jungle, so going the aggressive, really the pseudo tri-lane. And I mean, that kind of makes sense. Obviously, you want to have the push all together, especially with Tempest and Balfagor, and really aggressively take out these towers early on, as at least would be my guess as far as what they want to accomplish. But we do see a Luna already heading down here. So again, it's going to come down to play for sure, but you got to think, especially with that double range and decent spam out potential, it's not going to be as easy as a time as maybe Demented Shaman and Balfagor were hoping for, but we'll see as it goes on. So, but yeah, Gravekeeper versus Bubbles up here. Again, Gravekeeper's a hero we never really get to see. So, you know, kind of talking about Gravekeeper, what do you make of Gravekeeper? How much potential does he actually have?
He should do fantastically against Bubbles. It's actually kind of up in the air with Bubbles versus Gravekeeper, because Bubbles does have a little bit more guaranteed spam. It just does a little bit more damage. Yeah, the mini stuns coming out from Gravekeeper can be very annoying, but it doesn't really do that much damage. And Bubbles can obviously still disjoint stuff like that. But it looks like already you see a lot of harass and aggression coming out from Heimer onto this Bubbles. So Lumiander has to retreat already.
Tempest in a lot of trouble right here. Tempest is going to fall. Haxerin finds him, and, well, everyone finds him really at this bottom lane, and they collapse for the Bloodlust kill. So talk about things you do not want to happen if you're doing a pain. That's definitely one of them.
This is why you just never see that. You never see Tempest go out there because he's a passive jungler. And at least until you hit level 3, maybe a little bit higher than that, you can't really do anything. And again, we saw last game with Chessie actually playing Tempest, and he did not have the greatest start. He was trying to gank a little bit too much. It just wasn't successful. Granted, there was good response from Domain of Pain, but I just don't like seeing Tempest in that aggressive role like that. It doesn't seem to work out, and he got caught out. And now he's going to be forced to his own jungle, but why didn't he just start there in the first place?
Yeah.
I don't know.
So here's a kill. Now I'm going to go with my necessary handicap, right?
And he just used all his elementals, and they just all died.
Catman's a powerful.
So he's not going to be able to use it for 23 seconds. His farm is going to be absolutely gimped.
Yeah. Absolutely gimped. And so not having the prettiest of starts right there on Tempest, and that is no doubt going to hurt Domain of Pain. And that really does kind of change up the, and again, still Balfagor Demented Shaman definitely could still have push potential for sure with them two alone, but you keep stating, I mean, this Legion lineup down here, especially between Silhouette and Aluna especially, they got a lot of spam out potential. So the likelihood of that really working effectively is, you know, very rare, honestly. Will be pretty rare. Pebbles is going to go ahead and bottle up a double damage rune up top here. So getting some early rune control even. And speaking of that, let's see how this middle matchup is going. Emperor on Pharaoh, actually. That's actually a decent or interesting hero player combination. But 9-2 Pharaoh, 15-8 Pebbles currently. Actually, no, 11-2 Pharaoh. But Pebbles is definitely winning this matchup here. And in fact, yeah, he's going to go in right here, actually. It does have that double damage rune. Will he use the chuck? There's the chuck. Oh, he doesn't chuck Pebbles or Pharaoh, though. I think that's what he meant to do. But in the end, Pharaoh is going to be fine.
He should have chucked him earlier.
Yeah.
He was getting a mini stun, so it was pushing him back, and naturally he had a different creep to toss, and he did have a double damage. If he chucked him earlier and then walked ahead of him, he probably could have got 2 more auto attacks off with that double damage and would have killed him. So,
Balfagor at the bottom lane, getting jumped on by now. Keeper the forest. The blocks coming out between the two minions. He cannot go anywhere. Down goes Balfagor. Now Demented Shaman in a lot of trouble. We do see Chessie chasing him, trying to get us around on. He's just a little bit too fast, though, and I think Fitzky might be fine. Oh, this is going to be so close. The animated tree is going to beat him. He does 20 movement speed faster on the animated trees, but a good dodge right there. A couple more auto attacks. One more. There's a heal bomb at the last second. More trees being spawned in front. Oh, but they get kind of trapped right there. And he will get himself killed by neutral creep. So after all of that chase, he gets himself killed by the Ancients. But still, I mean, he's dead, and this is not looking like a pretty start here for Domain of Pain.
It's really not at all. I mean, the only thing that's good for them is that Silhouette doesn't really have much CS. And chasing these heroes early on for Silhouette is making her lack in the CS department. Yeah. Only 5-0, and against a 13-5. Wow. But you know, you have no hard carry at all, really, on the Hellborn team, and you have amazing team fight. Not to mention the Pebbles that's getting complete free farm in the mid, basically 26-13.
Not Gravekeeper, not a hard carry.
No, not really. But wow, he is destroying Moon up here. I gotta say. I thought that Bubbles would actually have a little bit of a better time. Like I said, I still favored Gravekeeper, but yeah, he's really owning this. Actually, Chessie dies to neutrals, but he already bought, so
okay, yeah,
he did that on purpose.
Not Chessie-like, but yeah, he bought, and obviously he's still just sitting on the Hatchet Tango, so he probably has even a Ring of Sorcery back at base waiting for him. So again, it's one of those cases where it pops up. It's like, oh, that's kind of funny, but it was on purpose, and actually it makes sense. So He's going to resurrect, and like I said, he'll probably have a Ring of Sorcery, or very close at least to see that Pickled Brain, as well as the Pretender's Crown, so well on his way. But yeah, the top lane, I mean, Gravekeeper, so the thing why, you know, while I was kind of talking about Gravekeeper earlier as a possibility to be picked up with a final pick, especially if they're going for more of a push style, mainly because of that ultimate, actually. As we do see in the middle lane, yeah, they try to actually connect for a kill into Pebbles. Not able to do so, but speaking of push, we do have that happening here in the middle lane now. How is Complexity going to react? The minions are out from Balfour, but look at Keeper the Forest setting his own Tree Dogs out. It's almost as if they're having their own battle here amongst one another. Pebbles jumping in. He has a haste rune activated, going for the Method Shaman. Stalagmite's hit. He gets done himself, though, so will not be able to combo for a kill. And in the end, the tower will be more than fine, actually. So, four-man push there coming out early on from Domain of Pain. Not really to make too much of it, actually, though.
Yeah, I mean, the old level 3 long lane Balfagor, let's go transfer to mid to push strategy. It just doesn't work. And when you're doing this against, like I said, you know, Pebbles is also, he can also anti-push with his spells, especially early on. Aluna's there, Keeper's there, pushing them back with their minions. All in the meantime, you have Silhouette soaking up all that farm. She's a hard carry. I don't see this working at all. I don't know what the decision was. The only thing you got going for them is Heimer winning this top lane, but how effective can a Gravekeeper be against this kind of burst lineup and team fight lineup that Complexity has? It's just like a cookie cutter perfect lineup. In the meantime, Beacon gets off a solo kill onto Fitzkit, and this is just going to start to steamroll, honestly, in my opinion.
Yeah. I am interested to see what Gravekeeper brings to the table. And again, he is having a very good start here. He's farming, what, 290 gold per minute. He's got Steam Boots. Well, that's pretty much, I mean, again, we're only 7 minutes in, so it's still very early, but he's level 7, he's got Steam Boots. Pretty solid start, but again, it's just overall, Complexity just really does have so many better things going for them, including this Pebbles, especially after that kill. He is the top farmer of the game, 340 gold per minute, and we always talk about what's the really #1 priority whenever you have Pebbles on your team. Make sure he gets the early farm, and that's definitely happening here from Beacon for Complexity. He's got the Steam Boots already delivered, already has a bottle on top of that. In fact, he's going to port somewhere, I believe to the top lane even, but actually at the bottom lane we do see a little bit of back and forth. But the top lane, they actually do get the kill on a Gravekeeper, so he ports up there, Bubbles with the setup, and there's a kill from Pebbles. So just like that, a kill happening from Pebbles again.
Yep. And
Gravekeeper, who was, you know, the only sign of life really early on, gets ganked. And they're falling even further behind now for Domain of Pain.
Yep. And when you're down, this isn't like a considerable amount of golden experience, but when you're a push strat, and quite frankly, an all-in strat, actually the hook comes out onto Beacon. He just tosses him right out of it. And then actually gets the Stalagmite stuns onto 2. Actually, who's at Fitzkit's in a lot of trouble. Balfagor trying to slow. Fitzkit gets a couple auto attacks in. The port actually from the Shell Surf coming in. It's not going to really hit anything. He does get the kill on Fitzkit. The stun coming out onto Beacon. One more auto attack. He will be actually falling right there. There's the ultimate ready from Keeper the Force. It does get used. Pharaoh gets trapped in his own wall after that ultimate, and he will fall as a result. So a 2-for-1 exchange it looks like in the end. And in the meantime, Haxorin pushed up a tower.
Yeah, pushed up a bottom tower, and they're going to push middle here. I don't see the Hellborn team really stopping this. You see the, what is that even called? The W, the demonic pathogen coming out right there. The Tempest ultimate going to be stopped immediately, though. Gravekeeper ultimate used on top of that, but minimal damage coming out. You use the corpse explosion, but Silhouette tanking enough of the damage, and Gravekeeper will have to fall back. So, you know, a little bit of back and forth right there, but Zombie Apocalypse, we had the Tempest ultimate coming out, and it just really didn't seem to do much there, as it was a great initial stun by Franzi, though, right off the bat as Tempest started channeling. So they tried to come together and make something happen in a Team 5 presence. Wasn't to be, though. Beacon has already resurrected. He's back here in the middle lane. He's going to go for a kill. Demented Shaman. Oh, wow! Talk about a Hail Mary right there. Throws his own teammate on top of Gravekeeper, and the power throw to finish him off. Now, is this going to cost Franzi his life? I believe it might. Still, though, a 1-for-1 exchange. Gravekeeper for Aluna. Not too bad.
Oh, Beacon!
He chucks Emperor back right there. Wants to get a kill. You see the whatever coming out from Balfagor, the spitting and everything. Keeper the Force, though, running in with Bubbles. Another chuck happening. This thing's flying all over the place from Pebbles right there, showing off his arm. And getting another kill. Balfagor barely surviving. The Regurgitate is on cooldown and not enough minute anyways. But now Gravekeeper porting in, but finally it looks like the chaos will come to an end.
Wow, Beacon just did so much damage in that fight. Yep, look, check out the hero damage chart. And actually, he's going to be pursuing this Tempest. I think he's still invis. Gets the combo on Tempest. One more auto attack. The snipe actually doesn't connect. Enso dies to the neutral creeps. That's unfortunate. But yeah, look at that hero damage. 26%. from this Pebbles that was just continuously chucking his teammates, chucking whoever back, constantly in that fight, and doing a lot of damage. And more chucking involved. There's a stun afterwards coming. That's kind of ridiculous. Can they get the stun? Nope. Actually, the hook coming out onto Franzi. Moonmeander actually, no, B-Kid and Moon go in the back to actually snipe out Cheese Helmet. And now they're getting pursued by Pharaoh and Balfagor. Balfagor does have his spit up. He's slowing. Moonmeander probably has a shell serve in just a couple seconds. 1 second. Oh, he does get silenced, but I think he probably should be okay. He shell serves backwards to try to man up on Fitske. Fitske doesn't get the heal up in time. This is ridiculous.
Wow.
What is going on? Now actually the stun coming out onto Pharaoh. Beak trying to pursue him. Haxtron's in the mix now, and this is just turning into a shit show.
It's like it's just getting worse and worse for Domain of Pain. They keep trying so hard to make anything happen, but Complexity just keeps having the better response. Pebbles has used 100 chucks this game at least. I mean, it's ridiculous. Every single cooldown, it seems like a chuck is coming out here from Pebbles. We do see up here, Keeper the Force Root coming out. Zombie Apocalypse on top of that. The Power Throw going to miss, and I believe Gravekeeper will be fine in the end. But this is 13 hero kills already for Complexity, and it is just one after the other here early on in this game. I think they're already making a statement that this game is even going to be over. We already have GG well played being called. It's 11.5 minutes in. People are listening. Oh, jeez. Okay. I mean, it is one thing. I understand you might be frustrated, but at least stay till 15 minutes to the official concede. I mean, come on. But Fitsuke's already left, so I think it's safe to say the game is going to be over here in favor of Complexity.
Yeah, I mean, well, you went an all-in strategy and you're down 10k gold in 10, 11 minutes, so it's over. It's like it's 100% over.
For sure, yeah.
But apparently Fitske did actually have to go, so.
All right, convenience, I guess. Oh, maybe that is why they wanted to run an aggressive strategy, maybe because he did have to go.
Could be why.
That's true. So maybe looking at it from that perspective, but. Whatever happens, again. So Complexity, it's clear that it's basically over. They're just really waiting for the 15-minute at this point, and may just even push to the shrine to actually finish it. In fact, you see the Hellboy team. Balfagor is sitting off to the side. He's not going to do anything. I wonder if Domain of Pain is even going to remotely have any resistance. It doesn't even look like it. So yeah. Well, that means what this does mean now. Complexity will be moving on to the next round. I'm not sure, and what that is. That is the losers bracket
finals.
No, losers bracket finals will be tomorrow. It's the losers bracket round of 2, so because technically the winner's finals loser will then move down and then face the winner of this next round. So that will technically be the losers finals. But anyway, so whatever you want to call it, it's I guess losers place. It's a 4th place match even because the loser will finish 4th place with that match. So.
And that will be between the winner of TDM and Q Squad?
Yeah, Q Squad 777. I'm not sure if that's even over yet. As we did see in that first game that we jumped into prior to the series, it seemed like TDM was having a very good start to game number 1.
Yeah.
I didn't actually get any follow-up, though, on that, so I'm not exactly sure how that's gone. But that means in the losers bracket, it could very likely be a Complexity versus Trademark Esports in the following round here in the losers bracket. So. But we will be coming back with the winners brackets matchup. It's actually going to be, of course, the winners bracket finals, that is. That is going to be Gary Johnson 2012. They're going to be taking on Q Squad, the actual Q Squad team. See, it's so confusing. I really wish they would do that. But the Nova and all those guys there, Nox and crew. So they're going to be playing Gary Johnson. That will be the next best of the 3 series. That is going to be happening about an hour and a half from now. So yeah, we've got about a minute left here in this one, though. Let's just go into the well here now.
Chessie was tossed in by B-Kid. How rude.
Better turn that teammate help off.
Oh, the Void Tossman applied.
I was going to say, how is he tanking so much damage?
Actually gets the grip up and then TP's out. What a bitch. What a bitch.
You don't want to die. Keep those stats up. All right, so it is official now. One of the rare cases we see the actual sacrificial shrine die.
Before 15 minutes,
Before 15 minutes. Wow, yeah, that was a 14-minute game, basically, in favor of Complexity. Yeah, thumbs up to that one right there, right? Yeah, so talk about an absolute stomp, but you said it. I mean, Domain of Pain, they went for a complete all-in strategy. Maybe it was because Fitske did have to go sooner than later, so they wanted to try to do something really crazy. It didn't work. I mean, that simply put, it just absolutely did not work. Complexity was by all means ready for it, and pretty ugly game, not going to lie. So
yeah, it's unfortunate, but Complexity really showed their power there. I got to go back to, Domain of Pain was leading early on in the first game, and just the composure, though. I keep going back to that. From complexity, it's just is all there. They just know how to play out the game. They know when to take those fights all the time, and that's why they're the best.
Yeah,
quite frankly.
Indeed. So, again, I pretty much wrapped it up there, you know, as far as what to expect now coming in here for this match. I'm trying to check on Trademark Esports. I believe they are actually still playing. No, they're actually scrimming now. So I believe Trademark Esports. No, he's spectating. Let me double check on that.
Well, if he's
real
spectating,
quickly.
he probably
they
probably
probably finished, and thus meaning, of course, that the games are over. So. I just want to see if I can get it to pop up right here real quickly. Yes, so they did end up winning both games, it looks like. Yeah, they won 2 games to nothing against Q Squad 777. So that means Trademark Esports is going to be playing Complexity later on today as well for the losers bracket portion. But of course, I mean, that's obviously a great series there.
Yeah.
Of course, and you know, you could even argue maybe one of the few times we would cover a losers bracket over a winners bracket.
I think we have to.
In the end, yeah, it's a winners bracket finals. You got to give respect to those teams for sure. They deserve it. They earned it, and it will be a great matchup in its own right. So not taking anything away from that. Of course, Gary Johnson, 2012, going to be taking on Q Squad. Nova, Knox, all those guys, and that should be a lot of fun. So that is set to happen about an hour and a half from now.
Yeah, it's going to be a lot of fun. I'm really looking forward to that. Gary Johnson looked very solid yesterday, as well as Q Squad. They did manage to take out Domain of Pain. Unfortunately, we didn't see that match. Yeah. But they're looking really good, too. I know you have them predicted to win the entire DreamHack tournament, as though
yes.
You know, it is important, too, to look at this as kind of like a showcase of what we might see. We saw Gary Johnson versus TDM already. Now we're seeing Gary Johnson versus Q Squad. And they're all in the same group.
Yeah.
So that's fun.
Yeah, that's a very good point. Obviously, Q Squad and Gary Johnson not in the same group, actually, at DreamHack. But in the playoff stage, they could eventually
meet
that's
up, right. I'm stupid.
When it comes to DreamHack. So,
yeah.
Yeah, it's Gary Johnson with Complexity and Orange. And
that's right.
Those guys. So, anyways, going to be a great series. Again, that's set to happen about an hour and a half from now. So that's at 12:30 p.m. Pacific, 3:30 p.m. Eastern, which, of course, is 21:30 Central European Time. So, again, an hour and a half from now, that's the easiest way to keep in mind. We'll be coming back. Gary Johnson, 2012, going to be taking on Q Squad. Going to be a lot of fun. Until then, we'll see you.